Today on the podcast, I am thrilled to welcome Manu Sareen, a trailblazer in Danish politics and a voice for social justice. As Denmark's first Minister of Gender Equality and Nordic Cooperation and a former Minister of the Church, Manu Sareen has been always vocal about his struggles with mental health, about struggles with men's health, and today's podcast we dig deeper into what it means to be vulnerable as a man in politics and a man who's been at the forefront of gender equality and talking about what it means to take men's health as an important aspect in today's society. If you are somebody who thinks that men's health is not talked about enough, then this podcast will tell you more about what we are missing in the bigger picture of men's health, ADHD, and mental illnesses. Tune in and do share your thoughts and comments in the comments section, and don't forget to follow because I am bringing you more and more experts of science, wellness, longevity, and all things health. Good morning and welcome to the Beyond Limits. Thank you for actually taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with me here today, Manu Sareen. And thank you for actually meeting with me on your busy schedule.
Yeah, but it's Saturday, so it's okay. I've only got my family at home waiting.
That's nice.
Yeah.
At least we're not keeping you waiting from the other important things at work.
Yeah.
So starting off this...
Actually, I never say yes to anything that I don't want.
Okay.
So it's never stressful, If you only say yes to things that you really want to do, it's never a problem.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you say, yeah, I'll do this. I'll say, yeah, I'll do this. And so when you're sitting there, it's, shit, why did I say yes?
Yeah, that's so nice and interesting that how you're telling me this. But how long did it take for you to actually come to this, thoughtful reclamation that I will only say yes to what I want and not do everything?
Actually, I remember the exact moment.
Uh-huh.
I really did, because I've been chasing, a lot of things, doing this and this for many years, and when I was appointed as minister second time, the Queen appointed me. I had 6 ministries.
Yeah.
You couldn't get any, bigger and. More power. I was Minister of Social Affairs, Integration, Children, Elder People, Equality, and blah, blah, And in Denmark, the Queen, you visit her and she'll say, okay, you're the guy, and you'll go out. And the press is there, 100 journalists are taking pictures. I was standing like, wow, okay, you made it, Manu. But then I heard a voice inside saying, I want more, and I was like, fuck, man, you're not well. Something's wrong with you, because it's been empty, like, a hole,
Yeah.
and you could just fill it up with everything and it just keeps on being empty. So at that point, I was, I took a decision that I have to leave politics. It was very difficult. And instead of following my ego, trying to follow my heart instead, in everything. And that was a journey that started there. And it took me, I think, maybe 4 or 5 years to kill my ego, if you can do that. But
as a man, as an immigrant, right?
Yeah.
It's a very difficult choice to kill that ego because most people are actually riding on that and then kind of pride themselves on it. But how did you actually realize that that was it?
One thing is the ego, but the other thing is the immigrant stuff you're asking about. And I think the immigrant culture, and this is not a surprise, when you're born, an immigrant, especially a boy, I think, also a girl, it's like, okay, you have to be a doctor or a pilot or engineer or something, And I also had that pressure when I was a kid and when I was young. But I think that both my mom and dad gave up that idea of him being anything very early because I think I was just born a troublemaker, and I couldn't sit still in school, and I fucked everything up, and I didn't do my homework, and I couldn't read probably, I couldn't write probably, math was like something I just hated. So all the immigrant doctor stuff, there were a big pressure, but they found out that he's more or less a loser.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so that's the immigrant stuff. So I haven't had that pressure,
Yeah.
career wise, because everything I did was like, oh shit, he did that.
That's very nice, that every time you're just surprising people and keeping their hopes and expectations really low. So then when you perform, you're always like, oh, wow, he's great.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's amazing. Hi, I'm Dr. Sharanya, a medical graduate and a certified physician with a master's in public health and also a master's in functional medicine and bioidentical hormonal replacement therapy. I have always believed that health is more than medicine. It's about resilience, mindset, and the human stories behind every journey. Welcome to Beyond Limits. This podcast brings you conversation with experts, change makers, and everyday people who have pushed boundaries in health, life, and science. From breaking barriers in medicine and science to redefining wellness and uncovering the untold stories of grit. Beyond Limits is about thinking bigger, living longer, and going beyond what people believe is possible. And if you'd like to work with me on a one-on-one or book a consultation with me, you can reach out via the link in the description at the email therealsharanya@gmail.com. It is TheRealSharanya@gmail.com. Let's go beyond limits together. But then you also talk about, you've written a lot of children's books.
Yeah.
And what was that decision like to write children's books? Because, as a politician, most people would expect that you would write books about governance and policy and more things, adult stuff. And what made
Adult
you...
stuff.
Yeah.
I've also done that.
You've also done that, but
yeah.
your work has been predominantly stronger on the children's books area. And what was that like?
I'm 58 now, turning 59. And I got diagnosed with ADHD when I was 50. So the first 50 years of my life, I didn't know that I've got ADHD. And when you've got ADHD, ideas like just pop out of your head all the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I just thought this was life. So writing children's book was also just one of those ideas,
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to do that, man.
Yeah.
Fuck it, man. I'm just gonna, and I've done a lot of that all my life. Idea, okay, I'll do it. So though I couldn't, when I left school, okay, I could write and read, okay, but not like, if you've asked my, teachers, okay, he'll be a writer, or he'll be, publishing in some years 35 books, they'll be, yeah, right. But I think the combination of having so many ideas, but also interest, if something really interests you and you think it's funny, it gives you a lot of dopamine in your brain, then it's not a problem for me. So, I just did it, and luckily, it was a big success.
Yeah.
Then I wrote one more, and, they came, hey, we want to make a movie of this. Yeah, I'll do that, and then one more, and then I think it's 23 books, children's books, So for me, it's nothing like something special, because every time I I write a book or do something, when I have the result, it's, I've more or less, I don't have interest in that anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for a new dopamine kick.
Yeah.
So my life has been like that.
Yeah.
So writing books is like, okay, not to be smart, but
Yeah.
just was, okay, I did it, but what's next?
Yeah.
Just like a dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other times it's, painful. But I found out to have this easy life without pain, I had to do something, not drinking too much alcohol, exercising, sleeping,
Yeah.
very important. Not thinking too much, having negative thoughts and
Right.
and so on, And when I did that, life was actually good. But on the other hand, I also had this force in me, this force, that just, just wanted to, do this project, and and that creates a lot of stress.
Right.
And stress is poison when you've got ADHD, So that's very bad for your body, for everybody. But as I told you, you're very sensitive.
Yeah.
So I've always been struggling, between these two, the stress and taking it easy. And I just thought that this was life.
Yeah.
If somebody came to me at that time and saying, okay, we think you've got ADHD, I think I would like saying, yeah, right, I don't think so. Because in my mind, ADHD was, small boys
Yeah.
running up and down, the curtains and everything. And I'm not like that.
Yeah.
My chaos is inside.
Yeah.
I've got chaos inside, I could sit still. That's not a problem sometimes. But it's inside,
Yeah.
So if you don't know what it is, it's to answer your question, it's like, okay, this is life, and I just have to deal with it.
You said so many things about ADHD, and how you said that the most important thing you pointed out was it's not outside. You see outside a very well put together man, a very high stature, achieving all the things in life. But on the inside, there's that constant chatter, constantly telling you that, oh, you're not enough. You can do this, you can do that, and you can do this. But what was your first step that made you think, I should actually address it? And for a man, it's very hard to address this, at least for a woman. More people talk about it, and then they tell her that she's emotionally vulnerable. It is difficult for a woman too, but I feel like in today's age and time, for men, it's even more difficult to address that I am suffering.
Yeah.
What was it for you?
It starts with, talking about feelings,
Yeah.
And talking about feelings, your feelings, how do you feel? For many men, we don't have, developed that language to, talk about our feelings. And I think that I developed that ability in a very young age.
Okay.
Actually. Because I found out that women they like it, So it was, for me, it was like, I think when I was 15, 16, 17, I could talk to women like my friends couldn't.
Yeah.
And actually, I bought every week. We have this women's magazine, just like Vogue,
Yeah.
but more Danish.
Yeah.
And I bought it every week.
Yeah.
To like study, first because I moved from home,
Yeah.
and I couldn't make food.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of recipes. So I said, oh, okay. So one thing, I was very young and I could cook, and
Yeah.
it's a very big advantage when you
Yeah, and
want
all
to-
women love it if a man
Exactly,
can
yeah.
cook. Yes.
The second was that you know, I'm also a sexologist.
Yeah.
And I was, because everything about women and sex and feelings was taboo in an Indian home.
Yeah.
You know, so I had this magazine giving me recipes, but also women talking about their feelings. I was like, oh wow! So so I understood, women and their feelings, and I adopted
Yeah.
that language. Every week I read this fucking magazine, and I think that was that helped me talk about feelings, but also expressing my own feelings also. So that actually gives you a big advantage when you also are suffering.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's one thing, but saying it publicly, it's something else.
Yeah.
And so I have, so I didn't say anything publicly. I've been in politics for many years and a
Yeah.
public figure. And I remember when I was appointed as Minister of Social Affairs, we were talking about maybe I should give an interview about this, being vulnerable and having a depression when I was young.
Yeah.
And, all the people around the table in the ministry, they were like, no, you can't say that. And you can't have a weak minister. You have to be strong.
Yeah.
And I found out, shit, man, it's very difficult.
Yes.
Pushing those boundaries and talk about vulnerability. It's a
Yeah.
big taboo. So
Yeah.
I didn't do it. But when I got my ADHD diagnosed when I was 50, also in age, you're like, you don't give a fuck about what people are thinking.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about age.
Yeah.
I just love it. I really don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I wish I would have had it like this when I was 14. Also
Yeah.
15 and 16. But so I was like, okay, I'm gonna write about it. I write books.
Yeah.
So I wrote about my own ADHD and also interviewed other people. Like, hey, let's do it.
Yeah.
And that had a really, really, really big impact in Denmark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so for me, so it when you're saying that it must have been difficult.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't, because I already started in a very, very young age talking about feelings and challenges. And I, my first education was also as a social worker. I've always been working with people. So you also learn, to talk about your feelings and how you're doing. My first book actually was about how to do social work with immigrants.
Right.
And forced marriages and
Yeah.
arranged marriages and so on. So
Yeah.
so that it has actually always been very natural for me
Yeah.
to talk about it. But I agree, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
In as a man, is of course it's easier in Denmark, in other countries also, but especially in immigrant
Yeah.
families.
Like especially Indian
Fuck, man,
families.
Indian families, if you look at the statistics, about who's got ADHD,
Yeah.
you won't find any immigrants.
Yeah.
Because-
Because nobody's reporting it.
Yeah, exactly, and
Yeah.
it's a big problem.
Yeah. And like you said, right, immigrant families, it's always a taboo, even to talk about just feeling low. Not even depression is a taboo, because you're expected, you're taught that, life has its ups and downs. So what were your symptoms like, and what should men actually look out for, when they say that, oh man, I'm not feeling great? Because now ADHD has actually become cool diagnosis.
It's a
to
cool
have.
diagnosis now, yeah.
Yeah. So how do you
I
actually?
made it cool.
Yeah. No, for sure. We love talking about mental health, but now it's become so cool that every second person is like, "Oh man, I think I have ADHD."
Yeah, that's a problem.
So, what do you say to men who feel like they have ADHD?
You know, you can call it ADHD. You can call it whatever you want. I don't. For me, that's not important. I look at this. You know, when you're saying I'm not feeling well, for me that's the issue.
Yeah.
Why are you not feeling well? What's the challenges and so on? And if you want to call it ADHD or something else, it doesn't matter actually.
Right.
Because you have to address the problem, look at the problem, talk about the problem. That's the most important thing. And there, you know, when you dive into this and that, you know, it could be so many things.
Yeah.
You know, it's some things mental, but, you know, I wrote a book about men and their, you know, Andropause.
Yeah. Which is something that I really want to touch upon with you, actually.
Yeah. And all of them, you know, I think all the men that I interviewed in my book, they were feeling, you know, bad.
Yeah.
And they didn't talk to anybody about it.
Yeah.
Not even, you know, their wives or girlfriends or anybody, you know, having, you know, feeling, you know, depressed or some, you know, many men feeling, yeah, but, you know, I'm feeling too fat now. You know, many of the things that women are saying, and it was a very big surprise for me. Yeah, but I don't feel sexy anymore, and I gained too much weight, and also, yeah, I've got problems with my libido and so on. Okay, but have you talked to anybody about it? No. Yeah. How about your doctor? No, that's embarrassing. Shit, man, you know, you have a problem. Don't you have sex with your wife? No. And, you know, I had this couple. Mm-hmm. The man, he gained too much weight, and, you know, there was a lot of changes in his body, and, you know, his libido, it wasn't the same anymore, and he couldn't have the erection as he had before, and he didn't go to his doctor. So they just slowly stopped having sex.
Yes.
But they didn't talk about it. And what happened? Of course, his wife was thinking it's her fault.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, typical. You know, typical woman. Yeah.
So she started, you know, exercising and blah, all sort of, you know, went to a diet, and, you know, but that only made his problem worse, you know. And I told him to go to his doctor and, you know, talk to him and get some medicine, some Viagra, you know, just to get started, you know. So they're okay now. So the thing is that we just don't communicate.
Yeah.
And then you're back to the question you asked before. You know, many women, they learn from a very early age how to talk, to express themselves, their feelings, and so on. And we don't.
Yeah, very true. I think a lot of boys, men that I've spoken to, they say, it's so difficult for me to cry. It's so difficult for me to say what I feel because all my life I've been taught to say strong.
I also have that. You know, it's very actually difficult for me to cry.
Yeah.
Unless I see football. But because I also was brought up with, you know, an Indian dad that you don't fucking cry and blah, blah. So it's in me, but it's not like that I miss it, you know, because I just wanted to emphasize that you can also talk about your feelings without crying.
Yes.
It's very important, you know.
Yeah.
You don't have to cry.
Yeah.
It helps sometimes, but
yeah.
But But so women, they learn it in a very early age, and look at, you know, you talk to each other. Men, we don't talk to each other, and it's so fucking classic. You know, it's when with my friends, when I get home to my wife, she'll ask me questions that I can't answer about their children, about their wives, you know, so we talk about very different things and stuff.
Yeah.
But the main thing is that when many women, not all of course, but are together, they'll talk about feelings. When they buy magazines, just it's about feelings and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. For us, we always saying, yeah, it's much easier being a man because we don't talk about these things. But it's a problem, I think. But it is easier. We're just okay. Look at the football and our magazines about cars and
Yeah.
watches and blah blah blah. So through our life, we don't learn it,
Yeah.
and you learn it.
Yeah.
And also actually that's a very big issue for me.
Yeah.
That many of these problems are also, and it's a little controversial, I think, for me to say, and not for me, but saying it, but it's also the effect of porn, because my generation and the younger generation, we have, experienced, we've seen porn before we experience being with a woman.
Yes.
So when we see porn, and we've seen it all the time, it fucks our brains up, and it's like, okay, you have to do it like that, and you have to slap, and you have to, and that's a very big problem for many men.
Yeah.
Because porn is, it's not real. It's, something.
Yeah.
And also in my book, I've talked with a lot of men, and they're like, yeah, but, because they feel that the pressure that you have to, have sex like that.
Yes.
And also the younger generation, Viagra is like topping for young men. Many young men eating Viagra because they think that you have to have a hard on all the time, and you have to for many hours, and it's impossible. And sex is not like that.
Yeah.
So that's also a big problem, and that's impossible to discuss that.
Yeah. It's impossible. And most men won't even admit it because, number one, they feel like as a man, we should be able to do it, right? As a man, we should be able to perform. And, it's our birthright that, if we don't perform, who else is going to take that up?
Yeah, I like that, it's a birthright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if all of this is being told to men, right? And it's very, very rare that we see men come and say that, I am feeling unwell. Even to say that, it becomes difficult. As a society, what should we do to actually, bridge that gap?
On one hand, I don't know because, and on the other hand, it's very simple because it's just keep on talking about it.
Right.
And because it also I don't know, but I think it also may have had some negative consequences for me as well, saying it loud. I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of jobs and, books, and many people want to listen to me. But actually, to be honest, I don't know that I missed out some jobs or opportunities because people maybe are thinking, shit, there's something, he's a little crazy, he's got ADHD, talking about it all the time. So I think this it happened, and I've also talked to other people saying that, in job interviews, when it was the third interview, then they said it, okay, I've got ADHD, and they didn't get the job. I'm also a coach, coaching a lot of leaders.
Yeah.
Many of them have ADHD, and then they just don't want to say it out loud in their companies, and because they are very afraid of the consequences.
Yeah.
And I understand that, because if you say that I've got this diagnosis, or I've got something else, autism, or I suffer of depressions, people will see the ADHD before they'll see the person now.
Yes.
That's the problem, and they will do it, and
Yeah.
that's
And I think that requires some kind of sensitivity at the level of, the society wherein we see people for who they are. And rather than see them as a diagnosis. Like, for example, if you had a fever, they would still see you as a person before seeing the fever. But with mental health, I think they see depression, ADHD before they see the person or even look at his capabilities.
because we see it as a weakness,
Yeah.
but actually it's a strength,
Yeah. To
Because-
be able to talk is strength.
Yeah, but also people suffering, they are very strong actually. But because they're suffering, but they're still going to work, still managing their families, still blah blah, that they're actually badasses,
Yeah. It's such a powerful statement to say
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
they're strong.
And for me also, to be honest, I'd rather be with people who have, a kind of sensitivity, feeling life,
Yeah.
both good and bad. Instead of, I've also known a lot of people just walking through life, not feeling anything, work, and,
Yeah.
money, and blah, 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 and when you talk to them, they don't have any, language for their own feelings. They don't have, the capability to, express themselves, and they're fucking boring to talking to,
Yeah.
when you are, invited to a dinner party, sitting to those kind of people, I'm like, oh shit, I'm so bored, I'd rather talk to somebody, who's had some problems in their life,
Yeah.
suffering,
Yeah.
blood and no, yeah, but it's, because these kind of people, they have stories, they have, they have experienced things.
Yeah.
It's very important,
Yeah, it's very, very important, I think. And, that coming to Andropause as well, which you were mentioning earlier, a lot of men lose their sex drive, lose their libido as they turn 50, 45, and they start feeling depressed.
Yeah.
And most think that, it's because my child has left the house, it's because, my business is not doing well suddenly, or my career is suddenly, I'm, coming to a retirement age. And it's all of these reasons that they talk about. But can you tell me what is andropause actually? Because nobody knows. We all know menopause. So many people are talking menopause, menopause.
It's so fucking, because my book, I talk when it came out 3 years ago. I talked to a couple of doctors, and they were like, "Yeah, this is the most important book, about men, ever in Denmark." And I was like, "You're the doctors, man. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And it, the thing is that we live now until we are like
Yeah.
79, 80,
Yeah.
85. But our body, it's only built to last for like 40, 50 years. I just went to dentist yesterday, Everything is changing, and, it's...
Yeah.
Because our teeth are also just, made to last like 40, 50 years, actually, to be honest. It is.
Yeah.
And that also, that's the same for women
Yeah.
in menopause, You don't have to you use any energy for, having more babies. And so actually, after 40 or 50, biologically, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might as well die.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you're done having the kids.
Yeah. So for you, we know everything, the hormone that changes. But actually, that's the same thing happening for us.
Yes.
Our hormone levels are also changing, especially testosterone. And, nobody tells us. Nobody, are talking about it. Nobody is saying when your testosterone levels goes down, you gain fat.
Yeah.
You get breasts,
Yeah.
because you're
You have high progesterone and other hormones.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And your libido changes, your sex drive and your energy change, and it for some men, just like women, it happens from one day to another. I interviewed this guy. He said, when I turned like 45, it was just like somebody, switched on a button and every boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
and that's really a taboo.
Yeah.
Talking about ADHD, okay, that's okay now, but this is really a taboo. And also, when you have very low testosterone levels, your sex drive changes, but also for many men, you have problems with your erection.
Yes.
And I know that. I think listeners, everybody knows that. You won't get any man to talk about that.
No.
Because one thing is that you're mentally, wacko or something. Okay, but saying that you can't, your birthright, it's impossible. But it happens. 40% of men in the age of 40 have problems with erection. 50%, 50, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So when I interviewed people, many men, they were suffering. Things are bad. And then I also interviewed doctors, and they were saying, yeah, but testosterone levels, and we can do, that's a big problem. And I also got, measured myself.
Yeah.
Because the book started with also, I was also feeling,
Yes.
something was changing inside of me, but I didn't have any words for it, and nobody told me.
Because we're not taught in medical school.
My dad didn't tell me, and
Yeah.
I didn't know anything in the school. So, I talked to this doctor, and he said, yeah, because you can actually do something.
Yes.
Because when your hormones are, declining, it's difficult to do something unless you take some hormones.
Yes.
But for men, we can actually do a lot of things. So we measured my testosterone before and after.
Mm-hmm.
Before I didn't do anything and exercising. Then I start, changing my diet and fasting. Didn't eat breakfast.
Yeah.
Eating no carbs. No, less carbs. Not so many.
Yeah.
And my testosterone levels were like sky high. It was you can measure it in many ways. First time it was like maybe 16, 17.
Mm-hmm.
And then after, good diet and exercise and everything, it was 23.
Mm.
And then I actually stopped again to see, the effects.
Yeah.
And it went down to 14.
Wow.
So now I've, exercising. So exercising, weightlifting, eating well, gets your testosterone levels up. Actually, single men have higher testosterone than men in
a relationship, right?
And actually, my generation, our testosterone actually levels are lower than our previous generations.
Yes.
Because we're sitting down, computers, we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
So actually, you could do a lot.
Yeah.
And get your sex drive back and everything. There's a lot of things you can do.
Yeah, like you said, it's so important because honestly speaking, me being a doctor, you had a very lucky doctor to tell you that, yes, this happens. Most doctors will not even address it as a problem. They will say, you're old. What do you expect your testosterone? Would it go up?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going down, right? And
you have to live with it.
You have to live with it. That's the worst thing. And what is it that we're not talking about men's health? There's so much noise about women's health, women's empowerment. It's required. I'm not against it. I just want to make it sure that it's being said. What is it that we're not doing for men's health? Why are we seeing more men get sicker now?
It's when I was Minister of Gender Equality, we also had this issue. We could see that men, they were like dying of heart disease and, all this stuff we know. And because we don't go to the doctor. women, they go to the doctors all the time. So we were like, okay, could we do something so we could get men to the doctor? Because this is also, it's not just, having equality.
Right.
It is actually very serious because this is about you dying, in an early age or not.
Yeah.
It's about, checking your blood pressure.
Yeah.
Many men, they have so high blood pressure and you don't feel it,
Yeah.
You just live with it.
Yes.
And the consequences are, lethal.
Yeah.
Cholesterol and all, all sort of things. So we started to like, we did some, some small projects. When you actually, go to the mechanic, you could get taking your blood pressure there.
Yes.
And, because we know that if you got a car, if something's wrong with the car, just a little noise, you'll go to the mechanic, immediately.
Immediately, yes.
And I'm also like that. So, so we had, doctors taking the blood pressure there and, at the library also, sometimes, and in the pharmacy.
Yeah.
So it's like, making it easier going to the doctor because, our approach is different as men and women,
Yes.
So it's about, taking your health seriously. But I think it's changing. My generation, we're better than my dad's generation,
Yes.
and my son's generation. They're much better, about talking about feelings and also going to the doctor and how they're feeling and so on. So
it's very important that you just brought it up, that make it simpler for men, because we as women, we have learned to express, and then we know that when we go to the doctor, we may not get the solution. So we are very used to searching for solutions. But I think as men, they're not even used to having a solution.
No.
They're just used to living the life just as is, because they're supposed to be strong. They don't get sick.
But it's also it's about being strong, but it's also about it's also I think so. It's also about an awareness of your own body. Okay, I'm not feeling well. You can if I feel something, I could also think of something else.
Yeah.
And ignore it.
Yeah.
But I can also like, hey, shit, it really doesn't feel bad, so I have to go.
Yeah.
And men, they wait until the last moment.
Yeah, I see that way too often.
Yeah, you see that,
Because I practice online as well, and I'm into BIHRT, bioidentical hormone replacement. And since I'm a woman, men are even more shy to talk about it to me, because they're like, I have to literally ask them, do you have this? Do you have morning erections? Do you have any trouble having sex? They're like, no, maybe not. But we have already had a kid and my wife is not interested. And I am also very busy, but they're very hard to accept that I am having erectile dysfunction. I don't have an erection.
It's very, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But you can, and the thing is, there's a lot of solutions.
Yeah, there is so many solutions. Yeah.
So, yeah. And the solution is not having a younger wife. Only. There's a lot of other medical solutions as well.
Yes.
But I think it's getting better. I think it's getting better, but it is. But if you look at it globally, it's so difficult.
Yeah.
Even in Denmark, we are proud of talking about everything, but actually we don't.
Yeah.
Men's health is a very big issue.
Yeah. And also Denmark is supposed to be one of the happiest countries in the world.
Yeah.
And what do you have to say about that? Is it true?
It's very difficult saying it's not true, because when you look at all the surveys, when you ask people.
Yeah. But what's the ground reality?
Yeah, but they'll say, I am happy. I think, I can compare with India, because I have family there.
Yeah.
And you could have all the problems with your, with your wife and sex drive, and you can blah 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 everything, but there's one thing that we've got in Denmark that you don't have, in India and other places, and that's social security. You know, that's very important.
Yeah.
Also, if you get sick, you can go to the hospital.
Yeah.
It's for free. You don't have to think about education, healthcare is for free. Everything is for free. And I know I've seen in India, I also seen relatives in the States how they're suffering. Healthcare is very important. When you have kids, you start putting money aside to their educations, and all Indians are like worrying about what's going to happen in the future and blah blah. You don't have that here.
Yeah.
We just don't have it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason that when you ask people, in all the surveys, I'm happy, I feel happy because I don't have all these worries. And I think that's a big part of it.
But do you think more and more people here are becoming lonely and are having a lot more mental health issues?
There are many people getting lonely here, and they are lonely. They've been lonely for many years, and that's a big problem because, let's compare again with India, other places. You have a different kind of interaction with your neighbors, with your family. I feel so lucky and happy that I've got a big family. Many kids, and you don't have the same in Denmark. You just don't have it. You don't talk to your neighbors. We know actually also from expats, and so on. They come to Denmark and they leave again. Why? When we ask them, because Danes are very difficult to socializing with them.
Right.
They'll do with their own community, and they won't talk to you when when you bring your kids, from the kindergarten or the school, and all the expats are saying that.
Yeah.
So it's a thing in Denmark. Maybe in the Scandinavian countries, but especially in Denmark, it's very difficult, having new friends here.
Yeah. Do you see loneliness becoming a greater issue in men, actually? Because at least women would go and talk to each other and their girlfriends. But do you see that men are having a trouble, especially because I know the younger generation is different, but what I'm concerned about is the age group between 40 and 50 and upwards, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. If you look at the men, 75, I think it's 75 for all the divorces, when people get divorced, 75% are women saying, I don't want to get married, I want to get a divorce. And we know that many men, also if your spouse, passed away or something, then many men, it's a very big challenge for them, surviving, making, just having, eating healthy.
Yeah.
And also, socializing and so on, because your wife have been doing that.
Yeah.
Calling the kids, calling the, guests, I'll come over and making the food. My own dad, when my mom passed away, it was a big problem for him.
Yeah.
So many men, experience that, and also are feeling very lonely.
Yeah.
But also many women, but especially men.
Especially men, I think.
Yeah,
and what is your solution, actually, if you were to say that, this is something we as men can actually do and should do and, can do? More than should do, I would say can do, because then should becomes like a lot of pressure on them to perform now.
I've also been in the municipality in Copenhagen as a politician, and I remember, and it's still here, there's a lot of projects, of groups of men, making food together and so on. And I think that's a part of it.
Yeah.
But it is very sad, Many people sitting alone, Christmas Eve. And Christmas Eve, that's one problem. And also, one weekend after another,
Yeah.
it's sad, I think.
Yeah, with you being in the ministry and everything, you've had so many people around you. But has there ever been a time, where you felt lonely and alone and felt like you were in your own struggles?
No. Being a minister is the most lonely job in the world.
Right.
It is. But I know what you mean. I've never felt lonely.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. But, apart from all of this being said, what was that little thing that provoked you to write books on andropause and ADHD? And how do you see that challenging conversation taking shape into something better today?
It is, again, very simple.
Yeah.
Because it's just start talking about it. And you can see it on podcasts today, and more and more are talking about it. Actually, I'm invited to a big conference now in Rigshospitalet, a big hospital in Copenhagen, about the book.
Right.
So, it's something is changing slowly.
Yeah.
But, there hasn't been any, focus on it. So nobody has talked about it.
Yeah.
And certainly now people are talking about it.
Yeah.
Just like Greenland.
Yeah.
Nobody has been talking about Greenland, and certainly Trump saying Greenland, and everybody's talking about Greenland now.
Yeah.
So it's the same about, andropause and
Yeah.
all the stuff about hormones and longevity and everything. So it's I think there is a slow revolution, going on.
Yeah.
People talking about now, how dangerous sugar is for everything, and you shouldn't eat any sugar, and it's it's bad for everything now, and blah blah blah, and you have to eat processed food. 5 years ago, nobody talked about processed food. Everybody's talking about
now bacon is the number one carcinogen.
Yeah, don't eat bacon. One of my good friend, he had cancer 2 years ago, and the doctor told him, okay, if I have to give you one advice, don't eat processed food.
Yes.
So
how's that changed for you personally? Because I know you've made a lot of changes in your health wise and your diet, and you've been trying a lot of different approaches, because we talked about hormones and we talked about healthy aging. Usually it's only spoken about for women because women want to look good and have good skin. And how's that for men?
It's also changing. And for me, it's not about, actually, to be honest, it's not about, how you look or anything. It's about having a healthy life all the life.
Yeah.
Because my mom passed away because she didn't have a healthy life, and and my dad the same, and I just don't want to end up like them.
Yeah.
So for me, it's being old, but being a healthy old man.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Yeah. And
So that's why I do all the stuff, eating vitamin pills and not eating too much sugar and not eating breakfast, exercising and eating fish oil every morning and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it, to stay here as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because we can see that everybody is getting older now, and but we can also see that it's the group is dividing, and this group, they're getting very sick also, and we are using a lot of money on this group. And if you analyze this group, it's very simple: no exercise, smoking, alcohol, processed food, and blah blah blah. And this group, healthy Danes, you can see they're socializing, they have families, they're eating healthy food, exercising, and so on. So I want to be in this group.
Yeah. But that you said you want to be in the right-hand group, the left-hand group or the Healthy Danes group, right? But that being said, our healthcare system, I feel, is still very reactive.
Exactly. But
Why aren't we going to preventive?
yeah, but it's slowly happening. And the thing is, actually, and that's very sad, the group here actually also are people with resources,
Yeah.
Financial resources also. And, I can make a private doctor appointment. I can go to, the health clinics, having everything checked and so on. And this group, that's the opposite.
Yeah.
So it's also about,
Resources, yes.
yeah, and education and which kind of job you
Yeah.
have, and that's very sad.
Yeah, it's very sad because governments are spending more and more on this group
Yeah,
when they can actually put that into preventive healthcare.
exactly.
And when do you think, what should the governments actually do about preventive? Because that's the real thing, right?
Yeah, but prevention. We as a politician, that's the last thing that you want to do.
Because all the money is
Yeah,
in
because
the reactive care.
exactly, because when you spend money as a politician, you spend the money and you want to see the results
Yes.
next year.
Yeah.
Because you want to get elected.
Yeah.
And prevention, it's it's so boring. And okay, we'll do this, give vitamins to elder people or kids, and we'll see the result in 200 years. And that's
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. So but it is happening, and I think more and more people are talking about it. But still, still, this group, I've also been, as I told you, Minister of Social Affairs. I've worked with this group.
Yeah.
When you go to, a gas station, you'll see this group, eating at the gas station, sausages and
Yeah.
shit food and blah, 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 because it's also about knowledge.
Yes.
Also about what to eat.
Yes.
And it is difficult and eating healthy.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
agree.
You have to do this, you have to do this, and you have to make the shit yourself. It's much easier just going to the gas station or 7-Eleven or just buying a sausage in the morning and, half a liter of chocolate milk and, because they're not thinking about it.
Yes.
So it's also about, education, telling people, how to, eat and so on.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it has come to a stage where eating healthy has become expensive.
It's very expensive.
And
It's very
eating
expensive.
unhealthy, you can get a donut for maybe 5 kroners, but you cannot get a salad for 5 kroners.
Nope. And you can't do it at, and sometimes I'm surprised those salads, it's, salad is very expensive. Cheap, actually it is.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's not that healthy, the salad that you buy.
That you buy because there's so many. Yeah.
And still it's like 60 kroners for that salad. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. And
Yeah.
it is, sometimes I buy that.
Yeah.
Because I can afford it.
Yes.
I buy some tuna, put it in, and it's healthy. And the shit food is much cheaper.
Yeah.
It's much cheaper.
Much
you can
cheaper.
two hot dogs
Yeah.
for like 30 kroners, the big ones,
Yeah.
and fuck, man, and I would never eat that.
Yeah. And it's so much cheaper, and you kind of feel like, okay, instead of me buying 10 ingredients, this hot dog fills me up, saves me time.
Yeah.
And I don't have to go and spend so much money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, I eat that. And when I eat unhealthy food, I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a choice. It's, just like I
Yes.
did yesterday.
Yeah.
I was home alone. My wife was out with friends, and I went to the, bought a big Indian restaurant, methi chicken,
Yeah.
a lot of oil and wow, rotis and shit,
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it, I don't give a shit.
But you need those once in a while.
Yeah, you need. But, when I track myself also,
Yes.
and I can see when I eat, fat Indian food, also fat.
Any
anything,
junk food.
I can see my sleep is like orange
Yes.
because your body is fighting the fat and digesting and everything. And it's like also if I eat, food 2 hours before I go to sleep, I can see it in my,
Yeah.
2 glasses of wine,
Yes.
I can see it.
Yeah.
You know?
So what you can see you're talking about is your HRV, right?
Yeah.
And most people now wear a watch, but they forget to see the insights on their watch. I'm so
Exactly.
glad that you bought it up
Yeah.
because most of the times we don't have to go see a doctor for us to tell us that, oh, no, you're doing bad. Your body is telling you, and I think just intuitively listen to it.
Yeah. I work every Tuesday. I work in a private psychiatric place.
Yeah.
With a psychiatrist, Andy Philipsen. And when we're talking with patients, it's like, we're interviewing them. But every time we're seeing this watch, we're like, okay, let's see the information.
Yes.
Because it's you have everything.
Yes, you cannot lie.
No.
Everything is there. What you did on the weekend, what you did in the weekday.
Exactly. Actually, yesterday I talked to a guy, Yeah, but he slept like 7 hours every night. Okay, that's good. But we found out that he was up 15 to 25 times every night.
Yes. And that's important.
Yeah.
That's so much it changes in the treatment.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the other thing I want to just bring up before we close this is that we also see that a lot in the Scandinavian, Nordic, or the European regions, the prescription of antipsychotics, antidepressants is quite high. It even starts off, there are no barriers to prescription here, actually, because we believe in positive mental health and I'm all for it. But do you think that's taking away a part of the population?
I don't think I understand the question.
I'm asking about, do you think there's a very high usage of antipsychotics, prescription antidepressants, even when it's not needed?
We can see at the surveys
Yeah.
that it is, too many people are getting it. I'm not like pro or against medicine,
Yes.
If you need medicine, you should have medicine to help you, in your condition. Sometimes I take ADHD medicine, sometimes I don't. Depends on, how I'm feeling. But I agree. I think too many people are taking it.
Yeah.
I think it's about 300,000-400,000 people in Denmark all the time, constantly, And I can see for some people it really helps. You're a little, have some issues, and for other people, they're just you're addicted to it.
Yeah, and some people are misdiagnosed as well.
Yeah, many. Especially when you're women.
Yeah.
Actually having a diagnosed as a depressive, but actually they have autism or ADHD or something, and or challenges with their hormones.
Yeah. So. And also, since I visit Denmark quite often now, I do talk to a lot of people, and one person who was speaking recently told me that, as a child, I actually was prescribed antidepressants when I had a breakup that was bad with my girlfriend. And then ever since, it has only escalated, and now I'm on antipsychotics.
You should be very careful with that,
Do you see that happening quite often here?
Yeah.
Because back in India, they're very tightly regulated, and especially...
Okay, I thought in India now they will give everything.
No, especially pain and antipsychotics.
Okay.
They're quite tightly regulated in who gets it, because number one, people don't show up.
They don't show it. Okay.
Saying that I am depressed.
Yeah, of course they don't.
So we don't have the chance to prescribe. If they probably did, then we'd prescribe more maybe. Yeah. But here, I think since you have the access and people do show up, and you have to do something about it.
I think there's a lot of stuff to do in India.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great conversation that we've had.
We could talk for 1 hour more, I think.
No. Yeah, for sure. I think, but then, today we're running out of time. So thank you so much for actually giving me the time to actually have this conversation that's so taboo about men's health, mental health, sexual health, and andropause. And if there's something that you'd like to leave the listeners with, what would that be?
No, I think we've, touched all the issues. But I think the main thing is, don't be so afraid of, of talking about things, because sometimes you're afraid, the world, it'll go under if you are saying things.
Yeah.
And then when you're saying it, you find out, hey, nothing happened. And that's
Yeah.
that's the way to do it, I think.
Yeah, I think that was brilliant. Thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to more. And thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sanya,
Yeah.
for having me.